Hey everybody, welcome to the Logan Powell Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan, live here at the Scotts Grand at 5060 Dorchester Road here in Charleston, South Carolina. Well, I got with me two dynamic people that are making things happen over the airways and ones who make it happen in our government. In the middle, I have Miss Catrina Reese. She's a gospel recording artist who's making things happen. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Calvin.
All right. And to my far right, the gentleman, executive director of Take It to the Streets, and he's running for city councilman for district, Mr. Jesse Williams. How you doing, sir?
Good to meet you. Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on. I'm telling you, we have a great show here. Talk about some great things that's happening in our community. But let's go for the guy first. No, let's go ladies first. Let's go with Miss Catrina Reese. Let's talk about yourself. What makes you? What makes Miss Catrina?
I think what makes me is that God finally told me who I was, and I believed him. Because I think a lot of times we as women, we take on so many different roles and we forget who we are. So I think finally when I realized who I was in Christ, then that enabled me to not only be able to be a blessing to my family and the community, but then to be able to go out and bless others with my music.
Wow. That's definitely a great point, blessing others, knowing who you are. Now you're in gospel music, and definitely I got with me a CD here, Good Love Letters, Hey, to God. Tell us about this nice CD right here, gorgeous CD, and definitely about 3 songs worth. Tell us about this, how you got started.
Love Letters to God was actually something that was birthed about 5 years ago.
Okay.
The 3 songs, one song is one that I originally wrote. It's called Sitting at His Feet. Mm-hmm. The other 2, one was written by a gentleman by the name of Chico Pullum. He actually wrote for Israel Houghton and New Breed.
Wow.
The other one is called Touched by an Angel, and it was written by Gordon Chambers, who also wrote for Whitney Houston. Okay. And so those songs really touched my spirit and talked about how I felt about God and how much I loved him. And then Sitting at His Feet was kind of my personal testimony of some of the things that I've gone through and how people need to know that the only way you can get direction and clarity is to sit at the feet of God and get direction, because I've been in this world long enough to know if you try to do it yourself, it's all jacked up. But you can't make any mistakes with God. So
no, you can't make any mistakes. Is right.
No.
And like I said, in God's way is perfect. Your way, you're gonna make mistakes. So definitely, when you say you're doing God's way, that way is perfect. So you're doing gospel, and you're doing a great thing. You had a great testimony. What are some of the hurdles that you've been facing in trying to elevate your career?
Well, I just recently signed on with Axe Entertainment Management, which is out of Atlanta, Georgia, and they actually took me on about 6 months ago. I actually won a Gospel Jazz Artist Award in Atlanta, Georgia with Praise Factor People's Choice Awards last year. So that really has taken me and elevated me to be able to sing. I've sung in front of on stage with Shirley Caesar, Diedrich Hatton, Yolanda Adams. So I've had the opportunity to really be on stage with some anointed men and women of God that are really powerhouses in the kingdom. So that helped elevate me and move me, and then all of a sudden I have all these people calling me and wanting me to come and minister in song, and it's very humbling.
Sure.
To be able to go before God's people, the brokenhearted, and that's what these songs are about. They're love letters, my testimony, talking about how I love God, how he makes a way for us. So that's really what it's about, just reaching the lost and the brokenhearted and showing them that God is the way. He loves us just the way we are. So that those opportunities have really just catapulted me. I've gone to Africa. I've had 2 opportunities to go to South Africa, and I've gone to Guyana, South America.
Wow. So traveling across the world, nationwide, worldwide, and you can see God's taking to the next level, and we're definitely here to support you and do what you got to do. The information on the screen, how to get in contact with her today, I guarantee it will change your life. But let's go to our next guest. We'll get back to her in 1 second. Mr. Jesse Williams, sir, running for City Council of North Charleston, South Carolina. Now tell us more about yourself. What is some of the things that you think that you can bring to the table to be different for the other candidates?
Calvin, thank you so much for letting me be on the show.
Oh, yeah.
It's a privilege and an honor to be here, and I love that you're talking about God, first of all, because that's part of my story. So, basically, what makes me different is that I was able to just get out there and begin wanting to go out into the community and talk to the residents in the community. So it started with just taking it to the streets. And so going out there to the community, I was able to see all the needs, and the goal was transformation. Transformation. Everybody's got examples of neighborhoods that's dilapidated, needing work. We call them ghettos. Some people call them slums. Some people call them the hood. So anyway, the journey began by wanting to be a part of the solution, and so we started doing going out there into the community, in the Dorchester Wayland neighborhood, which is off Dorchester Road. And I was able to actually move into that area to be a part of the community, and it's been a great process. And I was able to then become neighborhood president.
Gotcha.
Actually last fall.
Wow. So I can see that you have a passion, executive, ready to take it to the streets. What are some things that you basically, when you say you're going to be different than the others, when you have the opportunity to get into that seat, into that role, what do you want to see happen and change here in North Charleston, South Carolina?
Number one, what I like to see happen is that resources are shared with other neighborhoods, not just the historical neighborhoods that's been receiving resources and attention. For example, Dorchester Wayland neighborhood, we like to see resources from the city go into ditches, lights, things like sidewalks, development, and bring down crime, basically.
Oh, definitely. Now, for those who talk about the lights and the ditches, if you don't know, in some of those places, the lights are very what we call dim. I'm talking about amber. Mm-hmm. Amber lights means when it gets dark outside, it's not as bright as you see in other neighborhoods. So when you get amber lights, that means that no one's really invested into that neighborhood. I mean, as is. The light burns out, it burns out. So, and that's called, for instance, a lot of changes. A lot of ditches, that what means when there's a lot of flooding going on. You have a lot of things, when they have no type of ditches that are there to take that water, it will pretty much cause a lot of flooding. When flooding happens, it means that could affect your neighborhood, could affect, for instance, your apartment building where you're living in, where water can seep in and affecting the building. Now you say, Calvin, how in the world do you know all these kind of things? Well, for me, outside of doing, I coach a lot of kids in the inner city, so I know a lot of things that they go through, and just personally for me, I want to see change. So that's why I brought Mr. Williams on the show, so he can tell us his passion and why you should give him an opportunity. Now, you mentioned the things about the ditches, the lights. What are the things you want to see happen personally yourself here in North Charleston, South Carolina?
Thanks for asking. I would like to see, personally, I want to see the story, the narrative changed. The way we speak about neighborhoods like Dorchester Wayland, Russelldale, Liberty Park, and other like neighborhoods in North Charleston, not to mention other neighborhoods like Lake Palmetto and those areas. But I want to see people, the way that the community speaks about these residents change. Because they're working people in those neighborhoods, people work full-time jobs, they're retired people in those neighborhoods. And so that's what I like to see. I like to see the youth be able to have better access to jobs, and so I like to be a voice for the people in the community, and because that's me. I grew up like that. When I was young, people looked at me and said, "He's got no chance. He's not going to do anything with his life." I had no father in my life, and so I had to go through those same experiences that all the people in those communities go through.
Definitely, and you can see I got two people here that are sort of like-minded. One is actually going to be one in the political area, is actually being a leader for people and making rules and regulations. Another one is making change through voice, through song and healing. So Calvin's a very smart guy. I'm gonna bring the right people here. It's gonna make differences. I tell you right now, for those that are watching, voting is very critical. Like I said, don't be naive. Please don't. You got to know who your city council members. they have a lot of power. So I'm bringing a person here, and they said they're for you. So the opportunity is there. The information is on the screen. The person is now in charge, the executive director of Take It to the Streets. And he said they're about the community. So I definitely recommend get involved. The information is on the screen. Get in contact with Mr. Williams. Tell him what's going on in your neck of the woods here in North Charleston, South Carolina. For those that are watching, we here at the Logan Power Show, we love you. We support you. We want to see change too. But it's going to require rules and regulations. I'm going to be quite honest with you. Action speaks louder than words. Now, what you're about to do and get involved with, it's a tough task.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because you always hear that, everyone has changed, but it can be the same old situation. I've heard that speech before. Mm-hmm. What I know you mentioned changing some things of how the outlook of the community is. What is one thing in particular besides the ditches and the lights, something else that you have passion for, you want to get fixed in our neighborhood?
I'm passionate. I'm also passionate about the need to help people get jobs, mm-hmm. And jobs help bring down the crime. Everybody worries about the shootings and the crime that we see in the communities, and so I like to see a pipeline to jobs, and I would like to see ordinances change where we have more diversity in the city of North Charleston. I'm also a part of a group called the North Charleston Coalition for Civil Reform, and we laid out about 11 reforms, 1 through 11, dealing with policing down to the economics. So better diversity, more diversity within the city, as well as wanting to see more diversity within the jobs, what the hiring and the jobs that people are able to get. Everybody knows that when you got money in your pocket, you're less likely to be doing crime, less likely to be selling drugs, I'm sure. So those are some things I like to see as well. And everybody hears all this stuff. I got nothing to gain, from this position really, And so that's why I like to go in there and just speak for the people, speak for my ethics and my passions and my values. And we've already been kind of ruffling some feathers already. And so we've had a lot of partners in the area in North Charleston as well. Okay.
Well, definitely, that's what we're here for you. We're glad that you came on the show. We definitely let you come back on to tell us what some more initiatives that you want to see get done. And like I said, I told you, Calvin Logan is not a hush mouth type of person. I'm going to bring the right people on here and put them on stage, let them tell their story, and tell them what they're about. And it's up to you to make that decision. So that's why I'm here, and I got these people here on this stage to tell us more about what they're doing. Now, Ms. Catrina, I know that gospel is a passion. You're doing some great things. Before we go, where do you want to see yourself the next 3 to 5 years? Where do you want to see it take it off to?
Well, Calvin, actually, I just gave you just a snippet of some of the things that I'm involved in. I am currently a radio show host myself.
Okay.
I have a radio show, a blog talk show called Let's Talk Kingdom with Catrina. And what I do is I bring people that are doing positive things into the kingdom of God and expose them to worldwide. If you're doing whatever you're doing, politics, music, athletics, finance, health, whatever it is, and we've had some phenomenal guests to come on, and so I'm doing that. I'm also a writer. I've written a book called Daily Devotional. It's called From the Heart of God.
Okay.
And so I wear several different hats. So I got a lot going on, but my main passion is music. But yeah, and also we recently, my husband and I just got involved with the community, doing things for mothers of murdered offspring. We're working, and then domestic violence. So we're doing a lot of that in Charlotte, being involved in our community and making sure that our young women are brought up in the way that I was brought up, to have modesty about yourself, mm-hmm. and to be proud of who you are, the queen that God has made you, and to carry yourself in a way that will attract the good things that God has for your life.
Well, definitely, I thank you again for coming on the show, and we appreciate what you're doing. Now, Mr. Williams, I know that your time is very valuable, and definitely we're about to close, but looking from the audience right now, and someone's looking and say they're trying to make a decision, tell them what you want to see happen and why should they vote for you.
I like to see I'd like to see the communities in District 6, Dorchester, Wayland, Russelldale, all the way down to Liberty Park, just to have a voice for the residents. I want to help be a voice for the residents in City Hall, and as a city council person. And so I ask for anybody's vote that lives within that area, and of course volunteers to help get the word out, to continue to do the work that I've been able to do in Dorchester, Wayland, and other parts of the communities, similar neighborhoods like Dorchester, Wayland. Transformation is the goal.
Gotcha. Transformation is the goal. Helping people is another goal. Hey, I tell you, everybody, this is the Logan Power Show. We empowering people. We love people. But like I said, that's all the time I got here. I told you, keep an eye watch of these two people here. They're making big impacts. And like I said, we're here. We definitely support Mr. Williams is doing. We definitely in faith with him that once he becomes the next city council member here in District 6, he comes back and tells about his great testimony, his way to the top. And hey, we never know what next level God has in store for him. Miss Catrina, we don't know where God's in store for you, but we know it's going to be nationwide, worldwide, and we're in faith with everyone here. And it all started here in Charleston, South Carolina. Well, that's all the time I got. My name is Calvin Logan. We love you, we appreciate you, and we will see you on next week.